Hello, Pocatello.
Hello, Pocatello.
Hello, Pocatello.
Hello, Pocatello. Today we have Jen Erchul, owner of the Yellowstone Restaurant. And where else?
The 313 Whiskey Bar, the Union Tap Room, Shoot Trainer, Yellowstone Transportation. I think the list goes on. There's a lot.
I'm like, you could keep going. Let us know what businesses to support. Anyway, well, we're here to talk about Jen and her journey with Pocatello, not just the Yellowstone Restaurant, but anyway. So let's just get right into it. So Jen, for those who may not know you yet, are you originally from Pocatello or did you relocate here?
We absolutely relocated here. We don't have any family ties or any reason to be in Pocatello. We moved here the first time in 2001. My husband was transferred with Cable One when they took over this system. He was marketing director, so he kind of went in and acclimated people to the Cable One way. So we moved here in 2001. Then we moved again for work in 2007. And then found ourselves in 2012 able to kind of choose where we wanted to go. And we were in Omaha at the time, which is a great city, but a lot of concrete, and the crime was starting to creep in. And we both were like, let's bring the kids back to Pocatello and raise our family there.
That is awesome. So that's what brought you to the community, was just wanting to raise your family here?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty groovy space. And when you've lived other places, you really get to see the cool quirks and the community at large. And it's safe, it's honest, it's reliable, it's consistent, and it's super cool.
And as everybody knows, my personal favorite, the bright and shiny people that live here, like Jen. I personally agree with there's nowhere better to raise kids.
Yeah.
So I do. I feel like I came back here at 17 and decided to never leave again because I wanted to raise my kids here.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, what inspired you and Rory to open the Yellowstone Restaurant?
Well, it really is just kind of happenstance. We were presented with an opportunity to go into that space, and it happened at the first annual Neon Street Party. And we just got to talking to some people, and they asked if we would be interested in this opportunity, and we kind of hemmed and hawed. And by the end of the night, we had shaken hands. And then we woke up on Monday and we're like, oh boy, we committed. So now we have to follow through. So
too late now.
We quickly put a plan in place. We had never worked in a bar or restaurant before this opportunity. So we knew nothing about the industry, but we knew business, and we were really convinced that we could do it because we knew business, and we could find the experts who knew how to run a kitchen and who knew how to serve and bartend and create these experiences that restaurants strive for. So we jumped in, we remodeled, we painted, we hired, we learned, and 5 weeks after we closed on it, we opened the Yellowstone Restaurant and the 313 Whiskey Bar. And then in March, after we'd done another remodel, we opened up the Union Tap Room.
Wow.
So it was quite a journey and full of learning. We're still learning.
Well, as a retired bartender, I'm going to throw a curveball here.
Oh boy.
So how long before you started calling corners? Behind you.
Oh boy. I mean, it didn't take very long at all, because Rory and I would get reprimanded so frequently because we would come flying around a corner and we would run into a server that had a full tray, or we'd run into a bartender with a full cocktail, and they would be like, this is how it's supposed to go. And we're like, yes, we do. Yes, you're right. Okay. Corner.
That's
behind.
That's why I had to ask. I was like, somebody that has worked at a restaurant for a really long time, you still do it.
Yeah, I do it at the grocery store.
Same.
I feel like such a fool. I'll come around a corner. I'll be like, hello.
I'm coming behind, coming up behind you.
Yeah.
To your left at the post
I'll put
office.
my hands up on, right behind somebody just in case they're backing out. I'll be behind. Mm-hmm. They just kind of look at me like, I know, it's fine. I'm just being cautious.
I learned back in my rookie days, because I didn't say behind you to somebody who was moving hot clam chowder out of the window.
Oh, yeah.
And it went everywhere and burned his hand.
terrifying.
And so after that, like I said, it's a habit forever and ever. I still do that. So anyway,
Yeah.
I had to throw that out there because when you said that,
Oh boy.
it was kind of a new experience to own a restaurant. I was like, oh, so
yeah, we had no idea.
You had some learning to do.
We had so much learning. I'd never walked into a commercial kitchen until we opened up the spaces. And I was like, does this stuff work like regular ovens? Like you just turn it on? And I had no clue. No clue.
Yeah.
So it was really, I'm sure it was frustrating and entertaining for our team to kind of be like, holy buckets, they have no idea what they're doing. But then we would come up with the numbers and say, this is how we're going to run this. And you need to know these numbers. And they're like, nobody's ever taught us that before. And we're like, this is how you run a business. And you're going to teach us the industry. We're going to teach you business. So together, collaborating, we figure it out. And it's been a really fun ride.
How long has it been now?
We opened up in September of 2018.
I remember I came in with my friend Luke Bunzo.
Oh, I love Luke.
Yeah. And you guys were talking to him about lights.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember. It was right after you opened. So
Yep.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't realize it'd been that long.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Been a journey.
Well, I personally have my things that I would say about the Yellowstone being a unique part of our community. What do you feel was your goal to be a unique part of the community?
Gosh, so when we took over the space, we were just so fortunate. We've always loved our downtown. When we were down here the first time, I opened up a children's shop because there was no local maternity or children's.
What was it?
It was in Station Square. It took up that whole side where the hair salon is.
Oh,
it
what was
Jennifer's
it called?
Children's Shop.
I remember that.
So that was my first venture into business, and I
had a
fell
shop
in love with
starting
it.
in like 2014.
Oh, very
so
cool.
I always was looking for that.
Yeah.
I remember your shop.
Oh, that's
Hot Fun.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Oh, my friend Lauren just opened up Moonchild.
I saw that. I'm excited
I
about
need to
that.
get in there.
Yeah. I think
Lauren,
it's so
we're
cool.
Coming. Anyway, didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. So, and also when we were here the first time, Rory left Cable One and he started up Keon Communications, which had its office in the Clear Tuck building down here. So we both kind of had an affinity for downtown. And when we got the space, we knew that we wanted to create a unique experience. Pocatello has some really great things going on and some longevity in the businesses that have been here, and we celebrate that. But we also wanted to provide something that was unique to the experience we were going to provide. So we came up with the 3 different concepts under one roof. So we have the finer dining for Pocatello in the front, and then we have the whiskey bar with over 200 bottles of whiskey. And then we have the Union Tap Room, which is super casual and just like pub grub and easy. You know, you can come in your flip-flops and T-shirts and be comfortable. And you can go into the whiskey bar and you can be part of the history of that building. That whiskey bar is the original hotel lobby from 1915, unchanged.
It's gorgeous.
So the woodwork, the plaster, the light fixtures, the floor, like it's all original. Our bar top is the actual check-in desk. So it's like we invite people, travelers and community members, even if they're not guests of ours, to come walk through the building. It's a beautiful space and it's the heart of downtown. So we just felt like such a privileged honor to be able to celebrate that space. And we had to come up with a way for people to really get to enjoy it.
Well, and we appreciate it because just you talking about it, I can't stop thinking about spinach dip.
Yeah.
And shrimp tacos.
Oh, yeah. Love those.
It is gorgeous.
Love
Everything
those.
you've done in there, it's so beautiful.
Thank
you. I know that's actually, I feel like how we met, right? Was we would always have our meetings at the tap room.
I think that's exactly
we would
what
have
happened.
our little girls,
Yeah.
get-togethers, and we would meet at the tap room and get a bunch of appetizers and share. And I got hooked on those shrimp tacos for a while. So I feel like I was there like every Tuesday, whenever Taco Tuesday, right?
Right. Yeah.
I was there every Tuesday for a minute because I would literally crave them.
Yeah.
So,
They're so good.
that is so exciting. I do feel that one of my favorite things is the whiskey bar. I love, I'm a vintage fanatic.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I walk in there and it feels like I don't know, something about historic downtown being so charming. Plus, like I love the haunted side of things. I love the haunted history of Pocatello, and something about that makes me feel like I'm walking into the past.
You are walking into the past, absolutely, because it's unchanged, but also there are so many things that happen specifically in the whiskey room that we cannot explain.
Oh.
So we've had ghosty groups come through, and the crazy thing is they've all told us essentially the same stories. And they've named some of the things that we can't explain the same names. They're all saying the same thing. And at some point, we kind of have to believe that maybe they're telling accurate truths about what's going on, why the glasses are moving when nobody's around there, why we have footage on our camera of spatulas in the kitchen getting thrown at a cook, why we have funny things happen in the ladies' bathroom first stall. Like, there are things that we can't explain. So history is actually alive there.
Like, you should post some of that footage.
It's when we talk about it, when we really have conversations about it, it elevates the happenings. And sometimes we're not really super keen on, because it gets a little bit like, ooh, we're actually going to lean into it this year.
Yeah. It's definitely cool.
Yeah.
I can't help it. I'm like, you've got to, maybe you already have like a bartender with a handlebar mustache. That's all I can see right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. Maybe they did in the past. I don't know.
Right? Yeah. It's crazy what goes on there. But it's pretty cool, because one of the other reasons that we think we provide a unique experience down there is we don't talk about, we're in the food and beverage industry. We talk about we're in the hospitality industry. We feel like we're stewards of our community, and it's important for everybody on our team to embrace our guests and give them the experience that they deserve in Pocatello. So it's not just about serving food and drinks. It's about serving an experience. And it starts the minute that they walk in the door. And our staff is really knowledgeable on the building and about things that are going on in the community and other businesses that are downtown. And so when we have people come in and they ask these questions, our team is right there to not only welcome them, but also help them experience Pocatello in a way that people just passing through don't really get.
And that's awesome.
It's pretty cool.
That is awesome. I definitely love the sign, but I'm pretty sure we get to that in a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Because I did want to talk about the books. I did not know that about you. That you were already an accomplished author. And I just remember being like, really? Like, does she sleep? So I would love if you would talk about that a little bit, about your writing journey, how many books you've written, and obviously how that ties into your love of storytelling, like, talking about the paranormal stuff, and then connecting with the community, connection.
Absolutely. So it's interesting because I'm doing things that I never set out to do. My background is in clinical psychology and English, but English was just an easy degree for me. I had 2 classes left, and I'm like, I might as well take them and double major, And so for 11 years, I worked as case manager in the human services field for people with disabilities. I was drawn to the connection, not just with my clients, but with their families, and really learned so much every day because of those connections that I got to build and the people that I got to meet and serve. It was remarkable. But then we moved here to Pocatello when I was still on maternity leave from my state jobs. So I didn't have a job to go to, and I didn't know anybody. And my husband and I were like, hey, let's try the stay-at-home thing. This is an opportunity. This is going to be amazing, and something that we really wanted to do for our family. So Rory would get up and go to work, and he'd play golf, and he'd meet all these people, and he'd have dinner meetings, and he was having the time of his life. And I was at home with a brand new baby, and I was like, I need more than this. I love being a stay-at-home mom. It's such an honor, and boy, what an opportunity. But he sleeps a lot, and I need more stimulation. I would go to dinner meetings with Rory, or business dinners with Rory, and I would feel like a bumbling idiot. And I felt like I couldn't keep up with the conversation anymore. And people would be like, oh, what do you do? And I was like, oh, I'm just a stay-at-home mom. I change diapers and we go to the park. And I didn't realize that I had this huge opportunity in front of me. And one day Rory came home and he had a business card from a magazine publisher who was checking in to see if they wanted to advertise. And Rory, being Mr. Amazing Husband, says, we don't need any advertising, but my wife, she's a writer. And I'm like, I have never written anything. He's like, well, you have a degree in English. So he told this person that I was going to contact them and I should probably write for them. And I was horrified because I was like, I don't know how to write. This is embarrassing. So I called this person and this person hired me as it was a regional parenting magazine. And I was like, okay, this is kind of fun. And I could do it when the baby was sleeping and, Rory would come home and maybe they would go to the park and I could write a little bit. And it was super cool. And I grew that and I started writing for national publications and then international publications. And as we moved, I didn't have to start all over again. So I could keep these clients and I could keep growing these clients. And we ended up in Omaha, Nebraska, where it is the home of many, many Fortune 500 companies. And we lived in a neighborhood that had the decision makers. So I met these people and started going to some business meetings and started going to some chamber luncheons. And pretty soon I was writing for some of these Fortune 500 companies. And I got to write for Tyra Banks and build her Bankable brand. And I wrote for Lance Armstrong and I wrote for Nestle. And I started doing content creation before it was called content creation and digital media before there was anything out there. And I didn't really know anything. But if somebody was like, hey, Jen, could you maybe write a blog for our company? And I'd be like, you bet, absolutely. And then I'd go home and I'd be like, what's a blog? I have no idea what I'm doing. Somebody's like, can you write a white paper? Sure thing. What's a white paper? I don't know. So I really learned on the fly, but I got to build that up so large that I had several people that worked for me across the nation. And I realized that working remotely wasn't really a big thing back then. This was like in 2008, maybe, when it really blew up. But I had people that were pursuing their passions, but still needed to make a paycheck. But a 9-to-5 did not suit their schedule. So these folks that I hired got to work whenever they wanted, as long as they hit deadline. And I loved what I was doing. And because I had Jennifer's Children's Shop, I had an inkling about business. So I was figuring that out as well. But I wasn't so nervous because I didn't know anything. So I grew that. And then I had a publishing company get a hold of me and say, we've seen your work and we've talked to a lot of your clients. And we think that you would be the perfect writer to fill in our series. We need a book about love or how to date your partner or relationships. Could you do that? And I was like, oh, absolutely. And then I'm freaking out because I don't write a book. What? I have no idea what's going on here. So I ended up writing a book called Ways to Say I Love You, and they publish it and it's part of the series. And it was so much fun. And that just kind of reminded me that I also have some things to say. It's not always what my client is looking for, but I really enjoyed getting to speak my words and my truths. So I continued doing some personal writing and then grew that business large enough that Roy could quit his corporate job and come and work with me. And then it really morphed into a digital media firm. And that's what afforded us to move back to anywhere we wanted to. And we chose to come to Pocatello. So then fast forward a little bit and I hit 39 and I was having these crazy symptoms, but my doctors were not giving me any answers. And then they were saying, well, this is just midlife and every woman deals with it. So get through it. Maybe you're exaggerating your symptoms. It can't be that bad. Maybe you should exercise more. At this point, I was running half marathons and doing weights, and I was in the best physical shape of my life, but I'm gaining weight. I'm cranky. I'm emotional. I hate everyone. Everything is annoying me. Like, it was awful, but no doctor absolutely took care of me. And I had some that were like, it's just in your head. So maybe you should get on an antidepressant. And I'm like, nope, I'm pretty sure I don't need that. okay, thanks. So then I started to reach out to authorities on perimenopause and try to understand what was going on. And I would try to explain to my husband, who is wonderful and amazing, but actually was like, I don't know what I can do to help you, so get over it kind of thing. Every woman goes through it. I'm sure my mom went through it. You'll get through it. It's fine, whatever. And I spent years and years and years researching and trying to understand what was going on with me and learn more so I could take better care of myself, so I could be better for my family and my friends and all of the people that I am around, because I was just crazy. I felt like I was losing my mind and my body and my everything. And so I had a lot of my friends say, like, you know so much about this, maybe you should share some of that knowledge. And I was like, whatever, I'm not going to. That sounds silly. But then it got to the point where I would get so frustrated with my husband because he didn't want to learn about it. He was like, whatever, I'm sure you'll be fine. So that was the impetus of perimenopause for men. And it took days to write because I was furious as I was writing it, because I'm like, I'm going to teach you about this one way or another. You're going to learn about this and you're going to understand better what I'm dealing with and what I'm going through and what your daughters are going to go through and what every woman in your life is going to go through. And I wrote the book and I kind of handed it to him. I'm like, you have to edit this. And he's like, I don't edit your work. And I'm like, well, you're editing this one. And he did. And he came back and he was like, my God, I really didn't understand. And I'm so grateful that you shared that with me. And this is so important because nobody talks about it. And men certainly don't talk about it. They just talk about how crazy their wife is. And now it makes sense. And now I can help you get through it, and we can get through it together, and I can support these things, and I can understand better what's going on, and I can ask some questions. And this is amazing. So then I wrote Perimenopause, Laugh, Cry, Repeat, because again, nobody was talking about it and nobody was explaining it, and the doctors weren't educated in it. And I just thought, boy, if I can connect with some people with this is going to be remarkable. We're going to build a community of women that are all going to either know exactly what I'm talking about or at some point go through this in their life. And maybe they can be better equipped for it and they can manage it better and they can feel better as it's happening to them, because every single woman in the world goes through it. And it's just recently become a topic that people are studying and talking about. And then I wrote The Hormone Chronicles, which is more about, it's just a deeper dive into the hormones and what's actually going on and how hormones are, they're responsible for so many things. Your brain functions, like all of these things that nobody ever talks about. So that was the last one of the series. And it was just so good to be able to share my knowledge, help the other people, men and women, that are dealing with this. I've had single men reach out to me and say, you could have maybe saved my marriage. I had another man reach out in a very beautiful email and say, you did save our marriage. My wife threw this book at me. This was the last straw. I actually read it and I started talking to her again and we figured it out. And I just thought, boy, that's pretty powerful. I can't believe that my words get to touch so many people and then create these conversations in this community where I really feel like I'm part of something and I'm helping people. And that's where I'm passionate. I love to be engaged and I love to share with everybody. And I know that I'm not the only one going through something. And if we can all kind of talk about it, it makes everything easier for everyone. And that's how those books all came about. I needed to know I wasn't alone in it. And it turns out there's all the women in the world that are dealing with it. So it's been a pretty cool adventure.
Yeah. Well, I just want to know that you just gave everybody a genius way to communicate with your spouse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could you edit this, please?
Oh, I don't think I said please.
Well, it's better than throwing it at your husband like the other lady did.
Right.
I mean, I can see myself doing that. So
That
genius.
is true.
Genius.
Yeah.
So can people purchase these books on Amazon?
They can get them on Amazon. I also have a website called mymenopausehealth.com.
Okay.
And I have support materials and I have a blog and I have the books and just a lot more information. lots of different sites to go visit for more information. Some of the experts that I am in tune with and that I've been communicating with that really are just on the cutting edge of all of these things. They're really sharing a lot of powerful information that not only helps me, but helps everybody. It's been remarkable getting introduced to some of these folks, and I just want to share what I know.
Well, I'll make sure to link that because that's really, really neat and a great way also to connect with everybody. I mean, not just in the community. So that's amazing.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, I still can't get over the could you edit this? I'm going to try that, even though I'm pretty sure that my husband's going to hear this. Well, obviously he will. He'll edit it.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Anyway, well, one thing that I really was excited to talk to you about is the history of the Yellowstone.
Oh yeah.
As we talked about, I definitely love learning about these old buildings. I've been in a few myself. I've been in historic downtown since about, 2021, 2022 is when, because I started in the Pine Ridge Mall and then moved to Alameda and ended up on Center. And now here we are in Maine.
Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah. And one thing I love about historic downtown is the history of the buildings. And I do love the preservation.
Yes.
I love it. So I did want to chat about that because the Yellowstone has such a rich history.
Yes.
What type of history would you like to share about the hotel itself?
I have always thought it's an amazing building. Just even when we lived here the first time and I was at the other end of the block, I would walk down and go around it and be like, oh, this building is beautiful. It's rich and historic, and you can just tell that there's stories in there. And it was built, so there's a little controversy. We have found that it was started building in 1913, built in 1915, 1916. So we've kind of landed on 1915. And so everybody in the space will tell you it was built in 1915 because that's as accurate as we can get with the information that we have. It was built for railroad passengers, and then it also serviced the Greyhound passengers. And it became kind of a city hub for Pocatello, which is super cool. And it drew guests from all over, including presidents. We've had presidents touch the check-in desk in the 313. So if you're going in there for a cocktail or a mocktail, you're sitting in some pretty good company. It's kind of cool. On the main floor, the backside where the Union Tap Room is was originally a bank. So that's been, revisited and redone several times. It was many different bars. So a lot of people will come traveling through and say, oh, when I was a kid or when I was a young adult, we used to really ham it up in here. And that just, it's so cool. They'll tell stories about back in the day, and it's pretty exciting. The middle part, moving through the building, if you're in the 313 Whiskey Room, there's actually two spaces there that were the original lobby. At some point, there was a wall put up between the two. We have a door open between them so you can kind of see. And we have a picture of the original lobby so you can compare it to what it is today. And it's very similar. And then you go into the Yellowstone dining room, and that was always some type of diner. And then in the front where we have our Y Lounge, that was a drugstore. So the entrance to the Yellowstone has been shifted over a little bit. But other than that, the original structure is still pretty standard to what it was built as. Kind of groovy.
Yeah. That is so cool. Well, one of the things I noticed that you posted about recently was the sign, the maintenance on the sign. My friend has some really great footage of that. And so the aerial footage, I've seen a lot of it lately. And I'm like, it is so cool.
Yeah.
It's such an iconic part of Pocatello.
Yes.
So I guess maybe I'm curious about the maintenance on the sign and the importance of keeping up on it, what it means to you.
Yeah. So our neon sign, it says Hotel Yellowstone. It has been up there for decades. I don't know exactly when it was put up, but it was not lit for a very, very long time. When we moved into the building, it was really important to us. We feel like it's kind of a symbol of Pocatello's history and the heartbeat of our downtown. People that live here and grew up here know that sign. They've been seeing it. It's been lit. People grew up with it, and we wanted to bring it back. And so we got a little nudge from Relight the Night. Thankfully, they have been great to work with and educating us on neon signs, because we had no idea anything about neon signs. And we have to repair it about every 6 months. Something will go out. I don't even know if it's the filament or something in the connector is so thin that sometimes the wind blows the sign and it breaks it. It's really devastating.
Yeah.
It's very, very expensive. Blaze Signs in Pocatello, thankfully, knows a little bit about neon, and they have a great partnership with some company in Boise that works on neon. So we work closely with Blaze, and they work closely with the place in Boise. So if one of the letters breaks, Blaze will come and take it down for us. They get it fixed with their people in Boise, and then they bring it back and they install it again. So it's a blessing to have them. And Relight the Night has been so gracious and wonderful to work with their education. They have, in some of the cases, shared some of the cost, which has been amazing. And our intention is to always have that sign lit. It's just an iconic space to hold, and it's a privilege to get to be the ones to keep it.
Is Relight the Night a nonprofit?
Yes.
Okay. I feel like, isn't that what started the neon party?
Yeah.
Or the neon street?
I'm not sure if that's who started it or not.
Wasn't it a fundraiser for Relight the Night?
It could very well have
correctly,
been. Yeah.
Because I do remember when we were kind of getting something like that going on the other side, the
right.
west side.
Yep.
Or I'm sorry, east side. I feel like that was a conversation that came up. So anyway, I'm going to look that up. And
yeah.
I'm going to plug that too, because as you know, I love nonprofits.
Yes.
So
yes.
Anyway, so cool. I love hearing about that. And I'm also, I'm admiring you for being so, just classy about that. We're like, yeah, just the wind blows, and it can just cost us a bunch of money, but it's fine. We want to keep it lit. I love that.
It's just so important. I think it holds stories of the times past, and I think it's part of the new memories that are getting made.
Yeah, and it's the charm of Pocatello
to get to be a part of that.
Yeah,
it's an honor.
It is so cool that we still have that.
Yeah,
that type of, that we can still keep our signage. We can still keep the buildings, continue to preserve them, that we protect that.
Mm-hmm.
I know that is something that I've always really loved about Historic Downtown.
Yeah.
They care so much about preservation, and I've been in some of the old buildings. It's not easy.
Yeah.
I can't imagine, like you said, the wind blowing. I'm like, oh my goodness. Because as a business owner, I've had my sign knocked down before, and I was so frustrated. So to have that type of stuff happen, but they can't do anything about how these places were built 100 years ago.
No. And that's the thing with like the restaurants and the bars that we have. It wasn't built. That building wasn't built to house 2 different restaurants and 3 bars. And so sometimes people will come in and be like, well, why don't you do this and what you should do? And we're like, oh man, we just have to work with what we've got here.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool when you lean into it and you're like, whoa, I'm in an old building, and let's appreciate the architecture and the funky hallways.
Or come join us.
Right.
There's a place for rent 2 doors down.
Exactly.
Go talk to this building owner, and I guarantee that you could start a business.
Exactly.
It's harder than people think. It really is. But, it's also a great area to have any type of business that, has that artistic flair.
Absolutely.
That's one of the things I love about, since you guys have remodeled in there, I do remember, like I said, when you first opened, I was in there a bit, and then I remember going in for my friend's brunch and that color that you guys painted it. I was like, I wanted to go home and paint something that color. I have painted some things, not walls, but anyway, that's so exciting. Thank you for sharing. I love that type of information, and I really hope that the people that listen to this, learn something new.
Yeah.
So, well, we'll move on to community. That is how we met, is our involvement in the community. What do you love most about Pocatello and the people that live here?
Oh, that's a question I could answer for hours. I still am amazed that people get surprised that we chose to move back after we moved here the first time. But the pace of life here is remarkable. And people talk about the traffic, and I wake up every day and I know that traffic is going to be light. And if you haven't lived anyplace else, it might seem like traffic is crazy here and it's hectic and busy. But honestly, man, I can get to any place I want within 20 minutes. And that's amazing. Unless you get behind a school bus.
That too. No. I just had somebody make a coffee date with me for tomorrow morning, and I was like, well, I'm going to be late. I can tell you now, because I live by the temple and there are 4 different school drop-offs there.
Oh, yeah. That might hold you up a little bit.
That's the one time where I'm like, there's traffic. It's like getting stuck behind the trains in Blackfoot. You're stuck.
Yeah,
You're not moving. But other than that, but once you figure it out.
You figure it out.
Guess what? We'll leave 20 minutes early.
Yes.
I agree. I feel like living in Texas, I noticed everywhere took 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Even if it was 10 miles away. But here, 10 miles, you're going to be there in a minute.
Yep. Yeah. We've lived in places where it took 45 minutes to go 7 miles. I much prefer this. I love the outdoor opportunities that we have. It's exactly 15 minutes from my driveway to the ski hill parking lot. 15 minutes. And I have a local ski hill to go to. Are you kidding me? Nobody else has that. Yeah. And if you do, it's going to cost you $700 for a day ticket. Come on. Like, that's opportunity. We have hiking. We have biking. We have the river that people are starting to use again. We have all these outdoor opportunities, and they are literally in our backyard. That's amazing to me.
You're not the first person who has said that. Some people have been long-term residents, and some are people who've moved here. But some of our past guests, like Brooks Hale, Kirk Lipchinsky, sorry, Kirk, and Jeremy Morley, they all just, especially Brooks, he's like, it's beautiful here, and he's from North Carolina.
Yeah, he's not born and raised here.
Oh, yeah, I know. I always say stuff to him about his accent. But I'm like, I hope I didn't butcher that, Brooks. But North Carolina, and he's like, it's just beautiful here.
Yeah.
And that's his favorite thing about here. So I think that's one thing that if you've lived here for a long time, you may take for granted, or if you're not outdoorsy, which, I like some stuff. I used to ski a lot before I had an accident, so I can't ski anymore. But anyway, I do remember even as a little 4th grader being like, that didn't take very long.
Yeah.
So,
we have so many amazing artists in this community. It blows my mind. This is a small community, but it is loaded with talent.
Exactly.
And when you start seeing it and talking about it, it's remarkable. We have musicians, we have people that can paint murals, we have writers, we have dancers, we have all of these things right here. We have dinner theaters, not just a dinner theater. We have dinner theaters, this is crazy. We have the university. Come on.
Yeah.
This is remarkable. But the people in this community are spectacular.
Yeah.
And they're pretty awesome to call our friends and our neighbors and our coworkers and our peers. We are a community that comes together. We are a community that supports. We are a community that thrives in adversity. Like, we come together when we need to. The people, I think, are what make this home for me.
That's actually, you just described exactly what started Hello Pocatello. I've always been really involved in the music scene. I'm a musician, and I used to work at the First National. I still go there all the time for music. There's so many amazing bands here.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can go for free and watch music 3 times a week.
Yeah. It's
And
amazing.
then and in the summertime, 5 nights a week.
Uh-huh.
As you know, I'm a big hardcore Civitan. I
Yeah.
love my Civitans.
Yes.
A Revive at 5. I feel like I bring it up every podcast, but it's amazing. And I'm also a vendor at the farmers market. I see these talented people.
Yeah.
And then I go to these huge markets, in other areas. And I'm like, right here at home. We've got it right here at home.
That's the thing.
We've interviewed both Mark Daniels and Nick Hotman.
Oh, yeah.
And they, I'm like, these people are our neighbors.
Yeah.
We live around some of the coolest people. And I feel like the music scene is something that people don't really know about. I actually just had a conversation the other day with a friend who's like, you really should go in and, get in on the promoting of this stuff, because I usually don't find out till the last minute. And I'm like, you know what? I feel like there should be a whole part on the Hello Pocatello page that's just music.
Yeah.
Because there's something every night almost.
There is.
Especially in the summer.
Absolutely.
I love that you said that, because that was one of my favorite pastimes of living here is music. I've been some type of musician since I was 14 years old. And as an adult, I was like, wow, there's some here.
There.
Like a good friend of mine is Lane Bowen.
Oh,
and
my
I'm like,
gosh.
He's going to be famous within
Lane.
5 years.
Yeah.
You know it. And I mean, I've the same. I don't want to leave anybody out, because I know so many awesome musicians, but I've also known Lane since he was a kid. He worked for my family's restaurant. So, and his son is my son's best friend. So, I mean, we see each other a little bit more often, but we have amazing musicians.
Yeah, we
here.
do.
Keep an eye on the podcast, because I've been poking at them. I guess what, Sean? I'm calling you out right now, Sean Barnby. I'm like, return my text message.
Sean, you should do this. This is a blast.
He will. He's just so busy. But I've got a bunch of posters from the first national that they gave me. I'm going to have a wall of local musicians. Wait till the ribbon cutting. You'll see it. So anyway, keep an ear out. But that's who I've been kind of like just poking. But they're always out of town playing gigs.
Right? They busy.
Don't have time. They're playing busy. All the gigs, which is great.
Yes.
So anyway, yeah, I'm like, well, this is going to be a long podcast, but that's okay. Because we're talking about the things that started this whole movement. I don't want, it's weird to call it a movement, but it is. It's a movement.
Yep.
People have just been like, this is amazing. What are you doing? Like, what's going on? How do I get involved? And I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, I just wanted to talk about cool stuff. So anyway, speaking of that, when you think about Pocatello's future and everything happening and all of the progress, what are you the most excited about?
I'm super stoked about all of the possibilities. I can't listen to any of the negative talk or any of the naysayers. I just look around and I just think, man, the opportunities are endless. And the more people that we get to talk to about this, the more things are going to happen. Yeah. I just think that progress is inevitable. And if we can be a part of it, and we can foster it, we can support it, we can watch it, we can do it, that's what's going to happen. And watching downtown morph into what I know it can be is so exciting. And when I see people light up when they start talking about some of the things, it's amazing. And it's time. We're right there. Like, let's go.
That's why I encourage people to learn more.
Yeah.
There's so much you don't know if you aren't looking for the information. So you and I both, as communicators, one of the things I like to do is pass along as much information as I can with resources and say, hey, did you check this out? Did you know this? Hopefully anybody that's listening to the podcast or reading the blogs or following along on social media, hopefully they see that we are trying to say, hey, did you know? Like, there's a lot of things that they may not know. And if they go out and they volunteer, they go out and they attend events, they go out and they be a part of the community, they're going to be surprised.
Absolutely.
They're going to be surprised because, sometimes you get the blinders on when you're busy. We're all stressed and tired sometimes. Like, I can understand people's frustration.
Yeah.
So I can see both sides.
Yeah.
But I also feel that because I went out and I started volunteering and I'd meet people, and then the opportunities just came. Like, the opportunities just started presenting themselves. Just like,
yes.
You wrote international publications because your husband decided you were a writer.
Right.
Like opportunity sometimes does knock on your door.
Yeah.
And if you don't go out and get the information or at least try, it does hinder you a little bit. So I really feel that, following along, like I follow a lot of nonprofits. That's where I get a lot of my information, is just like the nonprofit center, the different nonprofits. And then I see all the beautiful things that are happening.
Yeah.
And because I go to these meetings or I go to chamber champs or anything chamber related, because I do that, or I go and I visit Jeff at Visit Pocatello.
Yep.
I get the information and I'm like, hey, I didn't know that. That's so cool. And we are growing.
We are.
And people that, and you probably see this a lot too, people that outsider perspective, outsiders looking in, they're like, this place is awesome.
Yes.
How many times do we have like a foreign exchange student or somebody who went on a mission or somebody who came here just to visit and then they come back and they never want to leave?
Exactly.
But, it's because they can see the exciting things. Yeah. Because it's from a fresh perspective.
Absolutely.
So
I
won't go on and on about that.
Up.
That's my soapbox. I jump. I'm like, just go do the things and trust me. You'll see like how cool things are right now. And there's all this great stuff happening. And the only way to know is to gather the information.
Yeah.
So
like if you pay attention and you show up, you can't honestly say there's nothing going on in Pocatello.
Yeah.
Like there are so many things going on. I would like the opportunity to be bored.
Right.
I would love to be able to like, oh, there's nothing going on tonight. I'm just going to sit at home.
That's never
going to happen. There's always some cool thing happening.
I know. Sometimes people are like, there's nothing to do. And I'm like, my gosh, I have to pick one.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, which one do I go to?
Yeah. Or I'm going to go 20 minutes here and then I'm going to try and hit this next thing. And I really want to check out that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially on Saturdays.
Totally.
It's like, okay, so I'll go to the farmer's market and do that till 1. And then I'm going to go to this fundraiser.
Yes.
And I mean, I don't know how much, but here's the thing. Here's the secret. Do you know how often you can eat for free in this town?
It is amazing.
I know. It's like, I didn't even, like, I ate dinner and I show up and they're like, here's free dinner. Would you like a burger? And I'm like, I'll take a free coffee.
Yeah.
But, it's just, there's so many opportunities to get out and like, you don't have to have any money.
Mm-mm.
You just go.
Yes.
And so, I love that. I love that we're on the same page with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I know we've really connected a lot about Hello Pocatello. And before we started the podcast, we kind of talked about how a lot of people think that, what's the best way to put this? A lot of people are excited for the positivity. I'm an optimist, hopeless optimist, and I'm a glass half full forever. One of the things that I love is meeting people like you and some of the other people that I've talked with that are like, this is great. What I don't know how to put this. Getting behind this project, what do you feel made you like, hey, I would love to go on this podcast? There's a best way to ask that.
Okay, so a lot of different things. When we moved back to Pocatello in 2012, one of our goals as a family was to give back, because when we were here the first time, Pocatello was amazing to us. We met the coolest people. They supported these businesses that we started. They were there for us. They showed up and they encouraged us, and it was powerful. So when we came back, we said, we have to give back. That's one of the things that we have to do while we're here. And we had the opportunity. We led several committees. I was chair of our chamber for 2 years. My husband was the president of the Greenway for 7 years. I was president of our zoo board for 7. Like, we just gave and gave and gave. And then we opened up the restaurants and we didn't have time to volunteer anymore. And we continue to support our community in many different ways, but we just don't have the time to show up for everything. And when I saw that you were doing this, I was like cheering you on from the sidelines, like, let's go. This is amazing. Somebody is doing something so large and so positive, and talking about this community that I love so much. If there's anything I can do to support this, to foster this, to help this, I need to, because I don't have the time to always be in the trenches getting things done. But man, I want to support all the good things because there are so many people doing so many amazing things. I want to get behind all of it. I don't have the time, but I can participate in small ways. And this just felt like a very good way to participate and let other people know you're doing amazing things. Hello Pocatello is doing amazing things, reaching amazing people. It's a perfect platform to really talk about our amazing community and the amazing people that are in it. And it's a privilege to get to be a part of this.
Well, thank you. I feel like you still dabbled, because I feel like every time I was like doing some nonprofit work or chamber events or any type of event, I don't know how many events we've had at the Yellowstone. So I feel like I still got to see you a lot.
Yeah.
Because we would be there and you always made sure to come say hi.
Yeah.
You always took great care of us. As a matter of fact, I'm sure we'll be having our regular January event.
That would
at
be
the
amazing.
Yeah, that what is it the Bison Room?
Yes.
Oh, so beautiful.
Thank you.
And it's the perfect spot to have a very large, intimate gathering. Like
Yeah.
you can fit so many people,
Yep.
but you're still talking to everybody.
Exactly.
I remember that one's always my favorite, because last time I think I sat with Rainbow and Tipsavon, but I still got to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, I did like the vibe in there. So I feel like you still make sure to stay involved.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you can't be president forever.
No, thank
I'm learning
goodness.
that now. You can't be president all the time. You sometimes have to take a step back and
Yes.
say, hey, I have a family, I have a
Yeah.
business. But you found a way to stay involved. And I feel like the Yellowstone comes up often when it's like, hey, they're very supportive. Let's support them.
Yeah.
So that's really cool that you guys are still so supportive. And then I feel like this is a question I think we talked about it a little bit, but I would love to know more what you feel are some hidden gems in Pocatello that more people should experience.
Lately I've really been leaning into our outdoor opportunities. I go places, I travel, and I always do the outdoor stuff. Like if there's a hiking trail somebody talks about, I'm going to go do that hiking trail. If there's snowshoe, like I want to be outside. I want to see, I want to do what the locals do. And I think that Pocatello has all of these amazing opportunities outside that so many of us just don't take the time for.
Yeah.
And it's really fun. And it's a great reminder when our tourists come through and they say, gosh, we're here for 3 days for a meeting. We have 4 hours. What should we do? And immediately I'm like, hey, we have these hiking trails. Some of them are paved, fully accessible. Some of them are not. And it's quite an adventure. Do you bike? We have these biking trails. Do you fish? We have fly fishing all around us. It's so exciting because you can get out and it doesn't take me 3 hours to get there. It literally is walking out my door and I am outside and I am right there at a trail and I can go and play outside. I don't have to be around people if I don't want to be. I can bring my dogs. It's just a great way for me to breathe a little bit better. It's a great way to get exercise. It's a great way to enjoy the sunshine. I just think that being outside is just so good for all of us. And we have these moments that we can fit in every single day. So I am grateful for our greenway system. I think that they have done an amazing job growing that and connecting the trails and providing accessible opportunity for everybody. I love our Gibson Jack trails. I love our Scout Mountain opportunity. Like, get outside because it's all around us. And if you've had a rough day, it makes you feel better. If you've had an amazing day, it helps you celebrate. It's just, we have these hidden gems that are absolutely just steps away from every single person. I think we should use them more.
I have a couple that I follow and promote on social media, and I'll throw those out there for the listeners. And if you have any relevant suggestions for people that may have just moved here or just visiting, that they can find.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ones that I promote often is Healthy City USA.
Yes.
They're doing a lot of really cool things.
Yep.
That yoga at the port the other day
Love
looked
it.
so cool. And I was working, so I
Of
couldn't
course.
go. But Portneuf Greenway Foundation,
Mhm.
that's another one that I follow. Pocatello Trails.
Yes.
And really, seriously, the chamber posts a lot
Yeah.
of great stuff about that. And City of Pocatello.
Yes.
They all post stuff. So do you have any suggestions that people can follow?
Those would be the ones that I would say too.
Creek.
Pebble
Creek.
Pebble Creek has, and then we have our outdoor rec at ISU. They're full of information there. And they're very, very welcoming to the community. So if people have questions or they need equipment, they can go through them. They can rent equipment. They can plan ahead and say, hey, can we get a kayak for next week? It's super cool. It's not very expensive. It's just one more way to enjoy our community.
Yeah, I have a friend who rents kayaks, Yaks Up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Yaks Up. So that's another one that we could plug for maybe somebody who, because believe it or not, I feel like we have a lot of tourism here.
Yeah, we do. We just don't talk about it very much.
As a server bartender for 2 decades,
Oh, boy,
I talked to a lot of tourists.
And
I worked up in the hotel district. So I worked at like Toscano, Jakers, Ruby Tuesday.
Yeah.
I worked there for years, and I would get all these people coming in from out of town, either to work at the hospital for a short period of time or to work at ISU or do something at ISU. And I created this concierge book.
I love that.
It was a long time ago, so obviously it's very, very outdated. But I created this concierge book to help direct people, where they want to go.
Yes.
And it's also a great collaboration opportunity with the hotels.
Of course,
But,
yes.
I'd go drop off scones and we'd talk about this and we'd trade information. And then they would hire us for lunches or something.
Yep.
But it really did help the people that were just traveling through only for a month or two to find something to do.
Yeah.
And I feel like the people that have lived here for a long time, they know already. They already know. They're going every morning.
Yeah.
They're up there at 6 a.m. every morning.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that would be kind of cool. I'll make sure to plug some of that into it. I need to catch up on the blog, but when I
also,
do catch up.
One more thing is the bike shops around town.
Yeah.
They know all the trails. And
They
so
do.
if we have any visitors or any locals that would like to explore on their bikes, go to the bike stores, go to the bike shops, because those guys are passionate about their biking and they're going to tell you the best trails to go to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen some GoPro footage of
Oh, yeah.
mountain bikers. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
And it's here, or it's like seriously in our
right
backyard.
here.
It's in our
It's
backyard.
right here.
Yeah. I have a friend who's actually in Omaha right now.
Oh, boy.
And she's like, there's a cornfield behind the Maverick and everything is flat. And I'm like, yeah,
It's
I
true.
remember moving and I missed the mountains. And all I did was ski. And I was like, I missed the mountains.
Yeah.
So we're so lucky. We
We
really
are.
are. Well, so we talked a little bit about the restaurant. So we also talked about hospitality. What is your philosophy when it comes to hospitality and then creating a memorable dining experience?
So, like I said earlier, it's not just about the food and beverage. It's about the entire experience. And our goal is to elevate somebody's mood. They're coming to the Yellowstone to celebrate something. They're celebrating the end of a workday. They're celebrating a birthday, an anniversary, an engagement. We've had so many engagements happen at the Yellowstone. It's the coolest thing. And our version of hospitality is to provide fresh flowers to these guests that are having these moments, or to offer to take pictures for them, or, walk them through the building, give them a tour, talk about the history. We want to be that place where people can learn, they can experience really cool things. They can meet up with their friends. They can grieve. We have celebrations of life there regularly. And we always end with the primary of that event saying, thank you so much. Your team has been uplifting. Your team has been so helpful. We have an amazing team. And one of the things about working at the Yellowstone is we start off with giving them our mission statement and our core values. And we say, if this doesn't align with you, that's okay. But that it's not going to be a good fit because you have to care so much if you're going to be on the team. It's not just a job. You don't just serve people here. You provide an experience and you're making somebody's day a little bit better. And that's our job. One of our core values deals with supporting our community. And we just all have a passion for making sure that we're taking care of people and we're providing a great experience. And sometimes it doesn't work because we're human and we take it personally. And so if we flop at something or we fail or we do something poorly, boy, oh boy, do we revisit it quickly and try to figure out how to make it better for the next time, because it's such a driving force for what we do at the restaurant that it doesn't feel like we're just a restaurant, but it's a place where we take care of people.
Yeah. I don't know if you still have the Sunday brunches, but I do remember that being just like one of our favorite things there for a little bit. Me and a few girls, we would just go do brunch.
Yes, we loved our Sunday brunches, but they were exhausting for our team. So we decided that our team was more valuable than not paying attention. So we haven't done Sunday brunches for a little bit. But that's not saying we're never going to bring them back. We just have to figure out a way to do it.
On Mother's Day. No.
Yeah, right. Yeah, special occasions, we still will do them.
I know where I'm going then. Well, I know that it's probably hard to do this since it's your restaurant, but if you absolutely had to pick, what is your personal favorite dish on the Yellowstone menu?
Yes. So I have a few things. I love our lemon dill salmon. I love salmon, but if it's not done exactly the way that I like it, then it's just okay. But our kitchen nails it every single time. So that's kind of my go-to. But my very favorite dishes right now are our bison dishes. We have a great partnership with the tribe, the Shoshone-Bannock tribe. We have developed and worked with them for a very long time, and we get all of our bison from them. And so we get to celebrate the Shoshone-Bannock tribe. We get to celebrate our neighbors. We get to have this amazing fresh local flavor, and we get to serve it at the Yellowstone. So bison meatloaf, bison ravioli, it's amazing. And we're introducing some elk from a local provider.
Well,
so
that feels very close to home and local.
We are becoming a taste of the West a little bit. And it's super exciting for all of us to be that place because we have so many tourists that are traveling to Yellowstone. And they're like, oh, we had to stop at the Yellowstone before we go to Yellowstone. And now we get to provide that taste of the West to them. So super stoked about that. And it's amazing. Our kitchen just does it up so right.
After this watch, you're going to get a bunch of people that are like, I love hunting and I'm going to come have some elk.
Right.
I hear so much about that stuff with, when a lot of hunters and they're like, yeah, I can't wait to fill my freezer. Mm-hmm. And so during the off season,
exactly,
now they can still get their elk.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
And now I'm craving bison meatloaf too. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Well, so I love that we've talked a bit about advocacy. Mm-hmm. And, now that we're doing this interview, I'm like, oh, we actually have a lot in common.
We do.
I've worked in developmental therapy. I was a developmental therapist for years. I love that.
Yes.
So, and then also I feel like I talk about empowerment every single day. Yes. So as a respected community advocate, what causes are closest to your heart here in Pocatello?
The not-for-profits. I just think that I cut my teeth in not-for-profits. That's where I really started, and I found my passion for people. And I just feel like they need community support more than any corporate-backed business. And if we have a not-for-profit that's struggling, we need to show up. That is supporting our community members, that is supporting our region, that is supporting our growth, that is supporting our children. The not-for-profits are such a valuable asset to our community. I have no problem standing up and shouting from the mountaintops to go and support them and take care of them because they keep us going.
And as somebody who is a member of several nonprofits, I feel that they have skin in the game.
Absolutely.
They're like, we're about to give out a bunch of grants
Yeah.
here in a couple of months.
Yeah.
I think before we started recording, I hope we weren't recording at that time, but before we started recording, I talked about how much money we raised for like
Yes.
putt-putt tournament. And then I watch it help people with special needs.
Exactly.
It helps
Civitans.
with, all of the research
Yep.
that they do. Oh, geez, I'll get in trouble if I try to say where. I'm pretty sure it's in Birmingham. But anyway, I'm sorry, Teresa. Anyway, I feel like I watch a lot of money go out.
Yes.
And we're lucky with the Civitans because we've got a lot of support, but there are some nonprofits that are really, really struggling.
Yeah.
That is where I put my efforts. And I actually decided years ago as a business owner that I'm going to put a little bit less money into big advertising budgets, like say, for example, Meta campaigns.
Right.
I think I would rather support a nonprofit
Yep.
than give them a bunch of money to Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
Not saying, don't use those campaigns, but I feel like I've had more customers generated from nonprofit involvement than I have putting money into ads. So that's my personal favorite way to advertise.
Yeah.
But I feel like another thing that we have in common is how vocal we are about supporting women in business.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give to other women following their entrepreneurial dreams?
I think it's so important for women to support women. I think it's so important for women to support men. But I think that for a very long time, women were not given the voice to be the leaders. And I think instead of knocking other women down, we all have an opportunity to hold each other up and say, you can do this. You should do this. You're very good at this. Follow your passions, follow your knowledge, share your knowledge, do your stuff. And I think it's important for successful women to show maybe the newcomers or the younger women, the next generation, that it is possible. And it's a lot of hard work, and you're going to sometimes not be seen. Sometimes you won't be heard, but that's okay, because what you're doing is extremely valuable and important, and you're very good at it. So you need to have the courage and the strength and the commitment to make sure that you're following through. Don't get scared. Don't be sad. There's going to be setbacks. There's going to be failures. Learn from those, pick yourself up, and get back to it. It's so important that we have women at the table too. It's so important.
Well, I was going to say, we're going to be talking forever and ever. So I'm going to move on to the last section. So when you're not running the restaurant or writing, I know we've talked about some of this, but where might we find you around town? Not a stalking question.
Yeah, goodness sakes.
It's a, I mean, I know I see you at all the events.
Yes.
But what are your favorite things to do?
So I love live music. So I'm often kind of chasing the bands, going to check them out. I love supporting local businesses. So you're not going to find me most of the time at any of the chains or the big box stores, but I'm going to seek out the places that are locally owned, locally operated. Those are the places that I support and I feel most comfortable. They contribute to our community. So I hang out there. I like to have some adult beverages once in a while. So I'm going to listen to music at the First Nash. I'm going to go to Off the Rails. They have great beer there. I'm going to go to the Martlet. They have great beer and great pizza. Like our local places have really cool things going on. We have some cool bookstores downtown. Come on. Like, find me on Main Street.
Yeah. I have an addiction to vintage books, so I have to stay out of White Owl. And to be honest with you, I've been in Nashville for 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, like Ross
some
and Pat
really cool
are
things.
some of my good friends.
Yeah.
And luckily, I have support from people like that. When I started all of this, Pat has been so amazing.
I love that.
I have been a big part of the music scene myself for years. So we probably know a lot
We
of this.
probably do.
I've always been involved with music. I grew up in a jam room. So
Oh boy, how fun.
anyway, I'm with you there. We've already talked about this, but all of the music opportunities, I love it.
Yeah.
Well, as somebody who is very influential, and you probably have mentored so many people Do you have any people that you would want to mention that have been a mentor to you, that have influenced you personally?
So it's kind of crazy. It's very cliche, but my parents, and not because they did anything exceptional or entrepreneurial. They're very stable, very safe. My dad was a doctor. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, but they never said, well, Jenny, you probably can't do that. They always supported my ideas, no matter how foolish they were. They always said, just, we don't expect you to be the best. We expect you to be your best. And I grew up believing that if I tried my hardest, then I wasn't failing. And even if I failed, it wasn't a bad thing. I could learn from it. I could grow from it. I could do better. And I always wanted a mentor. I always wanted somebody that could show me how to be an entrepreneur. I didn't know anything about it when I started doing it, but all of the people that love me have supported me. And it takes my best friend, and it takes my husband, and it takes my children, and it takes my neighbors, and it takes the people that I'm purchasing supplies from. All of these people have helped me grow and become what I am in business and in my personal life. But my folks really opened the doors for me and said, you absolutely can. You just have to be your best.
Lucky for us. Lucky for us, because you've done so much, and that is exciting. I know a lot of people look up to you and view you as a mentor. So that's awesome. I love that. Well, okay. So I don't know if you have this in your notes, but we'll end with this. If you could describe Pocatello in just 3 words, what would they be?
I absolutely have them, and I didn't even have to think about them. Resilient, authentic, home.
Right. I love that. Well, that is one of my favorite parts of here. It's home.
Yep.
I was also a Navy brat. I don't know if you talked about that before or after we started recording.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I was a Navy brat. So I lived all over the place. And whenever I tell people, like, I used to live in Hawaii.
Yeah.
I was too young to appreciate it. But I distinctly remember whenever we would get off an airplane and we, drive from Salt Lake back to Pocatello, I knew the second we hit Yellowstone. I recognized Yellowstone instantly. As a matter of fact, the thing that stuck out the most was the Wendy's sign on Yellowstone. I was like, I'm home.
Right.
Little 7-year-old. So home. Home is the perfect word. I think a lot of people that are already home here would agree. And then a lot of people find Pocatello and make it their home.
I agree. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much for letting me interview you. I feel like we could have talked for 4 hours.
I know. Amber, this was so much fun.
Yay. Well, we'll do it again.
That sounds great.
Speaking of, we'll be starting a TikTok soon.
Oh, boy.
Me and a couple of friends, we're going to celebrate Pocatello.
I love that.
And we've got some great ideas, and I'm with you on the supporting local. I've always been if I can find it locally, I'm going to.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. And I definitely think that we'll do this again here in a few months. And we're going to invite some more of our friends with the bubbly personalities.
I love that.
Yeah, maybe we'll have some adult beverages and make it really fun.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jen.
Amber, thank you. This has been so much fun.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
Appreciate you.